Welcome back to the Summer League 2025. I am Ragnoff, joined by.
Mr. IBA, how we doing, everyone?
And we
Hopefully,
have winners' quarters. This is dstu versus L0rdRaiden. So whoever wins here will move on to winner semis, and the loser will go down to losers bracket. So they won't be out of the tourney here. They will be in losers bracket after this. So chance for redemption. We also have a few more races going on later on today as well.
yep, fun-filled action day here, and we've had plenty of exciting races throughout the gold bracket so far. So hopefully, we're going to be in store for another awesome race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's take a look at these objectives here. We have a few early ones, nothing, super rushable, but we we also have 3 datas, a few double ups with those datas. We have Zigbar and Data Zigbar, so potential for a double up there if you don't push the world that never was. But for early objectives, we have Twilight Thorn, Village Cave and LOD, Shan Yu and LOD, Thresholder and Beast Castle 1, TR Windows if you get access to the second Disney Castle summons, Barbosa in Port Royal 1, and I believe that's Treasure Room in Agrabah.
Yep.
So pretty evenly split between late objectives and early objectives here.
And we see Lord Raiden already off to 100 Acre there, and nice little fire on the first 3 checks there. Our starting World Unlocks here, we've got the Scimitar for Agrabah. We've got a double up on SP, so we already have full access to Solar Sailor if owners wanted to push that. Probably won't push that right away, but at least available. We got World Never Was, so we already have access to Zigbar and Luxord's objectives. And we've got good old membership card.
Yeah. Yeah, most likely not going to see that Solar Sailor early. I feel like SP2 is one of those worlds that you really don't want to do, like, underkitted. It's relatively high battle level and pretty dangerous enemies, so.
Yeah, SP is definitely very sneaky in terms of its difficulty just because of the enemies you got to work with. And if you're not sitting pretty with your kit, it can get very scary in a hurry because you got 3 forced fights, including the Solar Sailor, just to even traverse through it.
Yeah. Also, both players opting to do both 100 Acre Wood and World That Never Was shotguns before continuing into any other worlds. In doing so, nets them both Fyra and access to Pride Lands 1.
It looks like we got another magic sitting here on the other side of the Living Bones fight here. So.
Yeah.
Getting
Also,
the
Raiden did get the
of
RNG
course.
as well. Yeah, so technically this isn't a guarantee because of the enemy spawning a world that never was. So Raiden getting a little bit lucky to get that RC. Let's see if D2 gets it as well. D2 does not get it, so D2 has to run a backup here. It's a little bit scary. Still ends up getting it though. This is gonna be a little bit more, a little bit scary for D2. Not having party members alive means that Headless Living Bones might get involved here as you're trying to kill the first one.
Thankfully, going over the top of the Headless Living Bones that was spiraling there on the ground.
Good usage of that Blizzard as well to stagger it, since once they no longer have a head, magic will stagger them in that way. So really, heads up play by DC there and gets through the fight just fine.
And already a bit of a stacked Pride Lands early on, getting our ourselves another Scimitar. Our magic chest that we saw at the start here is a Reflect, and we also have LOD access.
Yeah, honestly, really good stuff to pull early here. LOD is one of those worlds that you can do early, and you probably want to if you don't have access to other high value worlds. So LOD is definitely a good one to see, and obviously having a reflect early in the seed is phenomenal.
And to kind of add on to that, especially having access to back-to-back objectives, basically, for LOD is also a bit of a plus, just because you're pushing prog points to get your hints on top of pushing two objectives that are going to be deeper in that first visit.
Absolutely.
And
the second reflect. Wow.
Okay. What else we can give?
Only thing waiting now is you know, some magic. Get some higher magic set, and you'll be sitting real pretty here.
Raiden's gonna get their first frog point once they talk to Simba, and we'll see what other goodies are possibly lying here. Looks like we got another magic chest and an ability chest sitting at the far end.
I mean,
robbing Simba of everything because we're probably not coming back to Pride Lands unless we're heavily tempted to go push for that Hyenas 2 objective.
In a magnet. Wow, that's like honestly almost a perfect magic set coming out of your first shotgun, in my opinion.
Right? Like, you've got a ranged magic with Blizzard, you've got that magnet for crowd control, and you've got Reflect as a defensive mechanism.
Yeah, that's honestly really, really crazy. Raiden going into Agrabah here, gonna force a death on the first force fight. Really quick, going to be getting up to a boo push here. Most likely will not be pushing Chasm of Challenges and Treasure Room for a little bit. Picking up an ice cream as well, so TT1 on the table. No objectives there, but there's a lot of checks for free in TT1, and then you can always utilize it for final form leveling if you get access to the form as well, so.
Yeah, and especially with it not having any objectives, you can kind of push Station off for a hot minute until you can hopefully get final form, or even like see if forms have anything on the table, just to try and really take advantage of that. Now, of course, if Twilight Town gets hinted and you see a bunch of stuff that you need, well, you're probably just going to go full scented at that point.
Yeah. I guess it's one thing that is nice not having the objectives there is no matter what, it's like, even if you have things that you need in Twilight Town, you can always be like, okay, well, it's fine. I can sack this now without caring. I can just go. Or you could, you know, once again, always try to hold out for more information so you can potentially find final form before needing to do it as well. But when you have objectives there, it's always weighing, well, I don't have any other objectives I can actively push right now, so maybe I should just go.
Yeah, it's kind of a damned you do, damned if you don't. It's like, if I hold off on this, it might bite me in the butt. If I push through it, it bites me in the butt as well for the forms. Agrabah is also being a bit generous here as well. We've got our skill and crossbones to get to Barbosa. Good old second chance, and just before we went into the room before Cave of Wonders, we found a money pouch, so we're gonna be rich on
and duck flare as well. Duck flare. Yeah, this starting tool set is pretty stellar. Only thing that you're missing is like a gap closer and a finisher, but like considering you've only shotgunned 2 worlds and you have all this, probably going to be clearing content pretty quickly once this shotgun phase is over.
And having that duck flare now, you might even consider just start to plow through LOD. You can start pushing those objectives with that duck flare and that magnet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and shotgun SP, may as well, just to kind of keep it on the back of your mind, because it is at least something there, objective-wise, albeit in the second visit, but at least you're already kind of in here, and also have the luxury of screens at some point.
Yeah. Pre-prepping screens is always pretty good in my opinion, because then you're not in that scenario where it's like, oh, I should go do screens, but I still have to do the intro of the world. If you just do the intro of the world and shotgun it early on in the seed if you have access, you don't really have to have that inner turmoil of whether or not it's worth it when it comes to leveling. You can just go. Also, that Sweet Memories that they have picked up is also a very good keyblade. I believe it was an 8-7 reaction boost, so
yeah, you never
pretty
go wrong
powerful
with that.
keyblade as well.
Alright, these two going into LOD.
I'm curious if DC pushes this, or if he's just grabbing first 3 and then finishing shotguns. Because you can absolutely just push it right now. Gonna continue shotguns though.
Yeah, definitely not bad to just go ahead and do. May as well see if you can't amp up your kit just a little bit more
Yeah,
before kind of starting to make your first hard pushes.
agreed. Raiden also dipping into that TT1. Gonna get all the free checks before station, and then we'll see our first push after that, I guess. Either, most likely it's gonna be LOD here, because you want your magic a little bit higher before you can go and do Port Royal. The objective next to Barbosa is Treasure in Agrabah.
And we see Raiden now back in, or actually in LOD. I forgot that they haven't gone there just yet, so probably was setting up to have this be the last place that they shotgun before pushing on in. After all, LOD, according to what I've been hearing, is Raiden's home, so...
Yeah, so I think Raiden only shotgunned the first two of Twilight Zone as well, just the two outside the mansion, so not wasting time on the extended shotgun of that world right now. Probably just gonna commit to this, hopefully find some movement to speed up the rest of Twilight Town.
Yeah, I've also heard and also seen some crazy things that Raiden has done with Twilight Town, where he'll check at least those, and then if he gets another ice cream early, he'll just blitz on through into TT2, since you just get plopped right back into the tram area for all the chests and whatnot.
Yeah. DC taking a little bit of time here to use this Reflect to get some early levels off of the Strafers here.
Yeah, I like it. It's very solid the XP value from the Strafers early on, so...
Stats really didn't move the way that you wanted to from that, though, unfortunately.
No. We got another little magic chilling off in the corner there, and Raiden's scream. It's just a cure. I mean, it's not. It's nice in sticky situations if you need to try and get a party member back up to go into a form, especially like final. But outside of that, it doesn't really have much purpose. It's like one of the only it's really the only magic that you never really want to see early on. Like, it's great, and it's like to go do berserk stuff, and again, like getting certain party members back up for forms. But yeah, outside of that, it's kind of the magic of disappointment.
Agreed. And so both players are going to be really relying on Fire and Reflect for the missions here. Probably the fastest way that they're going to be able to get through it, since they don't really have great crowd control. They do have Baby Magnet, but with how spread out the spawns are for the things like the shadows and whatnot during missions, you can't really utilize Baby Magnet too well.
Nope. And probably we'll try to sprinkle in a duck flare here and there, just to kind of quickly take out mobs if they've got the chance.
I guess the real question is, do you think both of these players are going to push up to Shan Yu immediately, or do you think they're going to leave a village cave?
I almost feel like you kind of would just push through the Shan Yu, because I mean, it's going to get you your other objective. It's going to get you that much closer to your next sequence of hints, because Raiden's going to get his first hint coming out of the mountain climb here. Which is going to be the same case for dstu once they get through missions and make their way up. But I feel like you kind of want to push that Shan Yu objective just solely for the info. Which, funny enough, Twilight Town's got a final form and an OC unlock. The classic.
Raiden did pick up a Proud Fang and Horizontal Slash on Mountain Trail there, so that opens up Hyenas 2 for availability, and Horizontal Slash making Zigbar slash Data Zigbar a lot faster. Also, dstu got the Royal Summons on level 12, so Raiden will get that either in this fight here or on the Summit fight if he does that.
It's looking like it's going to be Summon. I don't think we got enough
Yeah.
XP left here. But yeah, I imagine also probably seeing where your stat line is with the worlds you've also got available probably would push through to Summit, see if you can squeeze out a few more levels there. Make the stat line a little bit nicer.
Yeah, hopefully. I think other than doing the shotguns of the remaining worlds and the second ice cream as well.
Hey, speaking of, we might see Raiden just do what I was talking about earlier. He might just blitz through the station there and TT1 if it comes to it.
Yeah, there's potential for that. I feel like you'd probably just shotgun though, considering as of right now, OC doesn't have any value to you. But obviously the final form would be nice, but
yeah, the drawback obviously would be if that final form is sitting super deep in Twilight Town.
Also, and on this, the other thing on this first hint that we didn't comment on is the second skill in Crossbones, Beast Claw, and Valor Form itself are all on drives as well, so.
Yeah, that's not entirely a welcome sight. But...
yeah, that Beast Claw being there is definitely really unfortunate.
Now we just kind of have to hope that the other Beast Claw is in a little bit better of a situation, because otherwise, we've seen it even in the last race. The other skill in Crossbones to get the GR1 was not a super nice spot.
Yeah, the other thing with the drive being on the drive, it can make drives a lot scarier because you don't really have as many options to find the forms as you would otherwise, right? It's like, oh, hey, there's a drive in this other world that I'm going to clear. But when there's a drive on the drive, it's like, well, I only have the one. I can't go any further.
Yeah, the drive on the drive of, finding said drive and then hoping the other two things attached are not on that same drive in a deeper portion. And now dstu pushing on into the Minute Summit fight here. Raiden back to Twilight Town is actually just gonna go ahead and shotgun this. Now seeing hopefully gonna try and see that final form, which would be a very welcome sight.
Yeah, that final form would speed up Shanyu quite a bit. You could do like reflect item toss to kill him in the second phase very quickly. So makes sense since you're save warping out of LOD at that point anyway, because you're already in the GOA. Might as well go back to Twilight Town and see if you can get that final.
And of course, any other goodies that you might find along the way definitely be helpful.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that we don't know for sure that could be hiding here is more magic, or even, in this case, the likes of Once More, or even a summon. Those are the only things that don't get revealed on the tracker for us.
Raiden is going into the station fight here.
Yeah, may as well. Just quickly death abuse this, get the prod point, and then even hope your next handful of checks through at least the bottom of Mysterious Tower has anything.
There's
the OC unlock.
Yeah. And the other money pouches as well.
Money pouch. So Raiden's definitely chilling on items now. Might hold on to that money pouch for some elixirs at a later point if Unfortunately, still nothing, no sign of final form here.
Yeah, with there being so many checks available in Twilight Town, just like as a world, it's unfortunately not that surprising to not be seeing the final form, but
yeah,
definitely a bit of a bummer.
Could give him a nice negative combo though.
Yeah, it could come into play if we see like an early world that never was with like no finisher, no limit form, low stats kind of deal.
Yeah, and seeing that dstu is also doing the same thing, shotgunning.
With this
But
routing,
down
I
here-
assume that dstu isn't doing the station fight, though, entering from the other room of Twilight Town. So. Raiden on his way to Shan Yu here. Gonna really quickly get through this fight using Mulan Limit. Don't think this will kill because Mulan doesn't have Fire Boost on, so I think the Bolt Towers are going to survive here, but they'll be one hit apiece. Oh no, it did kill, wow.
Yeah, I think they got leveled up.
Yeah,
enough.
maybe that's why. Also, Mulan Limit's just a bit inconsistent in terms of how it whiffs, so sometimes you just get unlucky anyway and some end up living, but...
Exactly. It's one of those limits where you could literally do the same thing 20 times in a row and you'll get mixed results every single time.
Really good reflect usage from Raiden there. 2 quick reflects already in second phase of Shan Yu. Magic set looking good.
Yep. And it just go reflect into a duck player here.
Yep.
And it's just gonna close it out right away.
Getting a fire boost as well.
And 100 Acre is next up on the board. It's done. So not going to be seeing that anymore. And Halloween Town, no objectives there, and it has your limit for.
Yeah, so at this point, you're really hoping that that other beast law gets hinted soon, because Thresholder is such a fast objective. It's really rough to have that objective on the board for an entire seed, so you're definitely hoping to get information on that second beast law.
So now the interesting question. If you're either of these runners, if that Bone Fist shows itself a bit later on in the seed, are you going to try to make a case for that limit form and hope it's within the shotgun portion, or are you just saying, I'm just going to be without limit form?
It's a good question. I feel like at least doing the shotgun, like up to Candy Cane Lane and Santa's house, is worth it no matter what. So like if you get the Bone Fist to check it, I'd say do it, but I mean, it really depends. If it's right before your last objective, I can understand like skipping out on it entirely.
Oh, well.
Speaking of Bone Fist, yeah, Raiden also picked up a magnet in the OC shotgun there as well. So magnet into Torn Page, which doesn't matter at all, and then picking up the Bone Fist to potentially get limit form here out of Halloween Town 1. Meanwhile, dstu is committing to his next set of objectives, going for that Barbosa.
Yeah, you're at least 2-shot territory, I believe, for the Blizzard, so
I believe
definitely
so, yeah.
not a bad play here.
Only downside is Baby Blizzard does have a noticeably shorter range than Blizzara or Blizzaga, so have to be a little bit more careful on the minute fight. But yeah, Raiden picking up that limit form in Halloween Town Square and a glide.
And a glide, oh wow.
That's the first glide that we found, so that's some really nice movement. Raiden also taking the time to get a little bit more experience here.
Yeah,
hoping to get that magic up to like 24. I think it's either 24 or 26 gets you into one-shot range with Baby Blizzard without boost. I think it's 26. Yeah, so I imagine Raiden's not even going to bother doing the Candy Cane Lane fight at this point. He's just going to leave the world.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he is going for it. He is going for it. I mean, I believe it is a prog point, so understandable. So.
Yeah, I like the play. It's prog point, and you're potentially looking to get, I think he was close to another level here. So, yeah, he'll get another level out of this and potentially could get to 16 before he leaves, coming back out this way. So
I guess another thing, I assume that Raiden's looking to do Port Royal next, so maybe looking for an EXP boost as well in the free checks here.
That is also a good point, yeah, because you score an XP boost with that second chance, just immediately drop into the range.
DC's handling these fights pretty well for the most part, considering the lower magic and less than great crowd control. So, DC going into the minute fight here. No checks before that point. So a little bit unfortunate, but once again, you're doing this for an objective regardless, so.
Yep. Got Raiden doing one more dance call on their way out of here. They should get enough XP here, I think, from the toy soldiers. Yeah, they'll get just enough. And unfortunately, the 2 levels he picked up there in Candy Cane Lane fight, and on his way out, not getting any more magic, so unfortunate. But on the bright side, he is 1 step closer to the magic number on levels, which is 20.
Yeah, once you get level 20, getting double stats on level ups rather than single stats. So. Pretty nice thing to have. 2 abilities here at Piglet's house. An aerial dodge, making that movement even better. And the drive converter.
Okay.
Drive converter most likely won't come into play, but there's always a chance that that Beast Claw on drives ends up being attainable through the use of Master Form and drive converter, but no guarantees.
Yep.
Yeah, so Raiden a little bit behind in Port Royal itself, but makes sense considering Raiden did go and clear TT Station and also shotgunned OC before coming here, so 3 fights behind dstu. Oh, this is a little bit scary for dstu. Good reflect though. Yeah, not having
favor.
Sorry, go ahead.
At least is having that glide, so he'll slowly but surely be closing the gap from transition to transition. The longer this goes on.
Yeah, also having Magnera to speed up mob fights like this is really nice too. And the limit form as a pseudo elixir at any point as well. And the Beast Claw is just a limit Beast too. Claw.
Wow.
That's a really big pull.
Just walking into that Beast Claw with going into Halloween Town early. So that's big for Raiden here.
Yeah, that's very nice. And a little bit surprised that there's still been nothing important here in Port Royal, though.
Yeah, that is definitely a bit of a sad thing to see, considering how far you're going for this objective, because you got to go through all of the first visit. And still nothing to this point. And it's kind of starts to creep into the back of your mind. Okay, well, is there anything here at all?
I think the other worry is it's like, if you don't get anything here, what content do you push? You know what I mean? Because in terms of content that you can push while working towards objectives, you have Agrabah, which isn't going to really progress you any further unless you're going for Data Zigbar, or you have SP, which you would probably want to save so you can attempt a level there in the future. I guess you could quick run Roxas, I suppose, right? That would be good prog, and it would work towards that L0rdRaiden and Zigbar objective. Unfortunately, it would lessen the power of LOD2, using LOD2 as a double up for Zigbar and Data Zigbar, but still.
Yeah, on the flip side, it's you kind of figure you get yourself at least those 2 objectives cooking there for Zigbar and L0rdRaiden, and if you end up having to do Data Zigbar, then so be it, because otherwise you're kind of leaving L0rdRaiden off the table to try and squeeze in something else. And like obviously the double up of Data Zigbar would be very nice.
Yeah.
Because then you only have to do it once.
We're picking up a Shock Charm Plus as well in Beast Castle, so that's a Thunder Boost available basically. And dstu did pick up, unfortunately, a Torn Page in the remainder of Port Royal here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, also kind of sad at the same time, because it's like, oh hey, we're finding pages galore, but 1, the world is dead, and 2, you don't have any objectives for 100 acres, so it's like, oh, and a nicely timed Trinity limit here just before Thresholder.
Right before Thresholder, so you could do the 1 cycle here. dstu is moving right to Chasm of Challenges, going for that treasure room objective after defeating Barbosa.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just I'm feeling confident with my kit. you know. Like obviously you probably would really like to have that Magnera from OC.
Yeah. But for what it's worth, DC's magic is up to 26 now, so this Blizzard is going to rip through the Fat Bandits without too much worry here. Yep, Raiden's setting up for that one cycle with Trinity Limit here.
Perfectly on through.
I think Raiden goes
gonna...
up to Beast here because it will get him his next hint.
Yep. That's exactly what I was about to say. He's going to probably push on through because it's not... I mean, you don't have any info on BC and other than a nice little pan.
Oh, no, he's leaving.
Raiden's actually
and,
leaving.
you know, that's understandable as well. Because you don't have the info. Why force it, you know? Raiden also opting to go do Treasure Room before going Port Royal with that Magnera. Probably feels comfortable enough to do this with the lower stats. His magic should be high enough anyway, but this might get Raiden's magic high enough to where he ends up breaking level 20 on Minute Fight in Port Royal now.
Yeah, it'll make his treasure room definitely a lot nicer because he'll just be able to stand in the middle of the room, and then he's got free double pop of limit form even.
Yeah. So it doesn't even have to worry about item usage or anything like that.
And can still use that to level it up a little bit more just for the sake of having it leveled up when he absolutely needs to use it. A little bit scary here.
Yeah.
Because no once more here, but we do have second chance, so as long as you don't get comboed by the fireball, or not the fire breath, you'll be okay.
Alright, well handled.
And BC has absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
There's magic or something else there, but no value, and World That Never Was, all that's left is a page.
Yeah. Again, another world that you probably would have liked to see something so it could sway you into trying to do that content, but I mean, it's really looking like you're going to do content unrelated to your objectives to find what you're needing to continue the seed at this point.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate because you're really, like, when you're doing your objectives, you're really hoping that as you're getting your hints for those places that it's kind of coinciding with what you're doing, just so you're not having to kind of go somewhat blindly pushing into stuff in. Probably just resetting his flag or something. Not 100% sure.
I think he was thinking about quick running Roxas and then changed his mind about it, but I could be wrong. Probably just trying to decide what's, the most beneficial play to make here. Because DC's kind of in that scenario where you just have to push content that isn't related to your objectives or do World That Never Was right now. Or sack SP. Yeah, looks like we're going SP, which makes sense. It makes sense. You're working towards a second visit objective that's available to you, and also potentially getting some EXP here. Probably won't be getting too much EXP with Baby Magnet, but still going to get a handful of levels at the very least.
Yeah, it's like if you can especially get to the final wave fairly quick, you could just do a simple hit, let the strafers just retaliate and pop a reflect. That way, it's a little bit safer of a... It can get a little bit sketchy at times, but it is definitely like your safer option, because when the next wave of strafers are popping in, you can pretty much just reflect.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little scary. It looks like Tron is still on, unfortunately, so the strafers could get loose.
Yeah, you're going to have less control of their retaliation when Tron is attacking. There's a chance that either Tron dies or DC opts to party swap him, but for now, getting through this last set is going to be a little bit scary. Also, health isn't in a good spot right now. If he gets... okay, so he's at 1 HP.
Now we're
popping a potion. Okay. I think he dies from a spin. Yeah. This is scary. Yeah,
one
with Tron
spin here,
attacking
dead.
out of MP, just gonna opt to leave.
Yeah, which
Pretty
is
unfortunate.
unfortunate, but well, we got nominate sketches out of it.
Yeah, it does put Twilight Thorn on the table.
But on the flip side, that is an unfortunate spot to kind of lose for your XP grind, especially with you being in the 20s at this point, because you have such a prime opportunity to really crank those stats up if they cooperate. And
yeah,
at least isn't glide dipped anymore for the time being. Yeah, Raiden popping out Pan here just for a little bit added safety, especially if one of the melee pirates just come crashing in on you.
Unfortunately, Pan doesn't drop MP orbs here like he does in any other fight because there are no enemy drops in this fight. But, still having Pan out just for that extra layer of safety through the auto life and the regen is very nice.
Also, we've got dstu pushing on into STT.
Yeah, I got that nominated sketches and went right in. Doesn't have limit form or Trinity limit because as of right now, Trinity limit is locked by getting limit form. So
yeah, which is unfortunate, but I mean, again, one of those things. It is going to be a little bit slower than going in with Trinity, but you're here for the Twilight Thorn objective
exactly,
at the very least. So, with how things are kind of playing out, with like what you've been seeing through your hints, are you possibly tempted to push this out a little bit more to see if you can actually like start getting something that you need? Because like we're looking at the board, at least from what Raiden's done, and so much of it's just either dead or it's just done after a couple of the checks.
I don't know. So I'd probably opt for a different world personally rather than pushing out SCT. Like maybe pushing into SP2 or potentially even going world that never was. Just because SCT, while it is backloaded, because you're leaving at Twilight Thorn rather than leaving at the end of Struggles, you have quite a bit more content to do before you can really, get to the bulk of the checks. On Raiden's side, I could see doing it, considering he does have that limit form and Trinity limit to speed up struggle fights as well. But I don't know. It's a hard call to make for sure.
Yeah, we'll get rewarded with Firaga at some point. He does if he decides to go visit.
Yeah, I think also from Raiden's perspective right now, he still has a few other places that he can go. Like he has SP. Raiden also never shotgunned DC, so that's available to potentially find other world unlocks right now. And DC is in the same scenario for DC. I probably wouldn't be surprised to see either of them go Pride Lands as well and just get the Hyenas 2 objective soon, because for Raiden, his magic is there, DC's magic is there for Scar, and then you just have to do Hyenas 2, which even at level 1 takes a little bit, like tiny little bit of time, but without stats, it's fine.
I was just about to say, the next in the hints might influence what Raiden was about to do. We see the Royal Summons there showing itself in Hollow Bastion, so
as well as the other battlefields. If either of those are picked up, that's one objective in each location available. Both of them are a little bit longer to get to a single objective than other things on the board, of course, but realistically, when you're sitting in a scenario where you don't have access to so many objectives, you might just start pushing the ones that you do gain access to.
Exactly, because at least at the end of it, it is an objective, albeit deeper, but it does get you that one step closer to your 12 that you need to get in the finals, so... And from the looks of it, we're going to be praying that this is one of those. It's an ice cream. So we're really praying on Bailey here to give us something. Otherwise, we're going to have to find the other membership card to get these unlocks. And that's where things can get real interesting, because then we're talking core, we're talking 1K, peace check. Like, we're talking deep to have to go for those if it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously hoping that it's just in corridors if you end up needing to go to HB2, but at this point, it's like technically Raiden does have data axle available, but that's really deep for a single objective as well, and it would be adding an additional data fight.
There is our royal summons. So
Yep,
there's one part of the two.
And Raiden's going immediately, picks it up and goes Raiden.
Yep, may as well. You've got Magnera.
Yeah, this will be a
chilling,
really fast clear for Windows here. Also, if he ends up pulling like EXP boost while he's here, then he's gonna be able to get a lot of value out of doing SP.
Alright, dstu opting to leave immediately after Twilight Thorn.
Yep,
we still
getting
didn't have
that same
anything
hint
by that point.
and just going right for the same stuff.
Yep. Yeah, so we will probably see dstu also follow probably immediately behind Raiden. Again, the only difference at this point is pushing through that Windows objective. Raiden's obviously gonna have, well, not like obviously, but based on the kit that we're comparing, Magnera versus Baby Magnet for Windows, it's gonna go a little bit nicer for Raiden.
Yeah.
And did pick up another accessory slot on top of that, so we'll be able to kind of bump ourselves up a little bit more.
I'm a little bit curious to see where Raiden opts to go after this. Same with these two, actually, because I imagine that they're both going to do Windows here. I guess doing, like, Pride Lands is probably your best bet, even though you're only getting, what, 4 checks there, I think? Or 3, if you do it, but it gets the objective, and there's a chance that you get a world unlock that ends up, you know, swaying your opinion of what content to do.
Yeah, and it also gives you a real solid chance to pick up some very valuable info to kind of pretty much come up with a full game plan by that point, because I don't believe we'll get another hint before the Windows objective is done.
No.
So doing the Pride Lands push would definitely make sense to go try and do, just because of the, we're talking again, the prog towards that hint and that objective, which shouldn't be too bad given your magic stat.
Yeah, and one other small thing to note here, because Raiden still has access to Windows, or screens in SP, Raiden's going to be able to get a lot of experience potentially and get some good stats speeding up these later pushes soon.
Yeah, and
even
he does
without
have
the XP boost
plenty
at
of
this point.
items too from the several money pouches, so he could just give everybody items and just hope that, you know, it'll be enough to kind of get through enough levels, especially again because we're in the double stat territory. So
one other smaller thing to note about that is even without giving items, he does have double limit form pop. If he's not EXP boosting, limit form becomes an elixir, you know, just using limit form to get your MP back instead. Also a combo boost on Rumbling Rose, which is very nice.
Yeah, not a whole lot of super juicy accessories to work with, but as long as you got something that helps your stat line along a little bit better, it's definitely something at the very least.
I think Raiden has been skipping some accessory chests here and there for what it's worth as well, so these two may have some better accessories.
And the hammer just got launched all the way off to the corner from that Ragnarok.
Yeah, unfortunate. Didn't stay grouped up with the rest of them, so... Yeah, having a Thunder now is also really good. That, once again, strengthens that screens leveling, potentially, on Raiden's side.
Yeah, with that Shock Charm Plus that he picked up back in DC. Just making quick work of window number 2. sure, but at this point, would definitely love to see a finish modifier of some sort, even if it's guard break for that matter. Like,
yeah, you definitely want something. Like, guard break is probably the least desirable right now because you don't like Raiden would have magnet leap if he got finishing leap, which right now has more value because his strength is bad, right? But even guard break is really good once you start doing boss fights. So just any finisher would be ideal.
Okay, and about to finish up here. Last repressor down.
Wow, Pete living on 1 HP for dstu there. That's really, really unfortunate.
You know, I honestly, I don't think I've. I know we've played definitely a handful of League Siege, but I don't think I've noticed that Windows gave you 2 prog points. So Raiden will get, if Raiden gets up to 30 during this screens, he's gonna have his next hint, and we'll also get that extra prog for finishing up screens on top of that.
Oh, dstu going back for Twilight Town now. Before clearing out Windows, I'm probably looking for Magnet or maybe a drive for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, in comparison, they are going to have a little bit slower over time death abusing here.
Yeah.
They have, I think, probably right around the same amount of health that Raiden had when going for it, but that defense is drastically different.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Raiden using a pan here on screens rather than just saving his drive for limit form.
Probably just for extra safety.
Yeah, that's fair.
Doesn't want like, or just one little minor catch of the strafer doing its twirling there, and it just about kills him.
A little bit scary. Does have the auto life from Pan available. Starting to run low on items. I think he might actually already be out of ethers. I'm not sure. So we might see a dismiss on Pan and then start seeing some limit form instead.
Yeah,
I think I know why. I think his party members are set to attack, not just Shran. So his party members would be forcing retaliation, so summoning Pan keeps the strafers from attacking.
Alright, well, Raiden leaving at level 27. Their stat line definitely looking much better coming out, of course.
Yeah, above the floor for World That Never Was with Magic now.
That other Beast Claw is in STT. We got a Way to the Dawn as well, and Masterful. And Pride Lands is done, so until you're actually pushing that Hyenas too, you can kind of just put it on the back burner. But Raiden's saying, I'm gonna start pushing towards the Solar Sailor objective from the looks of it.
Yeah, probably just doing Hostile Program, and then I would imagine he goes for that Twilight Thorn, just to get it out of the way, because Twilight Thorn isn't going to get faster. Raiden already has Limit Form, so...
Yep. Yeah, and Raiden can do that new Twilight Thorn tech, so...
yeah.
He does have the growth movement that he needs, and of course has either Fire or Thunder, so...
Yeah, also having Fyra is really fast, because you get that one extra fire hit every time.
Oh, he's gonna have Pyraga, actually. I forgot. He's have off of I think the money pouch.
Yeah. So if he ends up opting to do that tech, that's gonna be a really, really fast Twilight Thorn.
Oh, unfortunately, Donald died, so no deck player. So we are gonna just go ahead with Limit Form here.
Oh, 1 HP! Wow.
The troll.
dstu is climbing TT Tower here. I don't know if he's committing all the way to TT3 here, or if he's just trying to find the final form. Because dstu does have Data Axle available as well, so potentially going all the way up.
I wonder if he is just committing to that, hoping that maybe final form is going to be up here at the top. And before trying to hey, nice
EXP
boost
boost
at
off the top of the tower.
But that will be nice for the later push as well.
Yeah. Raiden going into SP2 here. Strength stat's not really good, so we're going to be relying on magic as you normally do in most mob fights. Goofy getting the kill by standing still. We love that.
That's 2 days in a row now that Goofy just existing has been useful. We saw Goofy yesterday full on deflect oh my gosh. Not the Devastator is the core version, right?
Devastators are the SP version.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I call the core variants destroyers just because they just, when they decide to want you dead, they just ruin everything. So.
Yeah, absolutely. These two getting some good levels here on TT2, utilizing that second chance with the EXP boost that he just picked up to get some, much needed levels in this middle portion. Oh my god.
Yeah, now
this is scary.
Now we're in dangerous territory because that Berserker, thankfully not low enough on health, but now we're in trouble.
We'll have MP back after this DM.
Oh, but Donald died. But we're okay. Still no final form.
Raiden leaving SP2 to go do SCT. I think he was doing it for a drive refill, considering he went into a drive before entering the world, so didn't have full drive for Solar Sailor, and rather than risking a potential disaster to not having full drive, opting to get the drive refill by going SCT. dstu into TT3 here, hoping to find that final form and work towards that data axle objective potentially here.
Well, there's final form, so we'll have a little bit nicer time here level grinding, so they get that final form leveled up a little bit here.
Also, probably trying to get that Beast Claw as well, because Raiden got it on, limit level 2. DC doesn't know where it is. Oh my
Oh my gosh, we've seen this too many times of literally Final Form and Light and Dark being in the same exact room. Like,
and the amount of times that it's also just been in Twilight Town as well. Not only are they in the same room, but they're also in the same room in Twilight Town. It's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, so these two now gonna have a little bit nicer time. Oh, hey, we got our gap closer finally.
Yeah, that's the first one of those found as well. Not really surprising that TT is holding out. If any world is gonna do it, it's gonna be Twilight Town.
Yeah, and this is gonna be real good for these two now to kind of make up for lost levels back in SP with the amount of XP that he's gonna be getting from that XP boost.
Yeah.
It's going to need to book it a little bit so they don't run out of form here to try and save it for doing some more grinding, because at this point, the final form is probably going to be your best bet for grinding relatively quick here.
Yeah, also getting your stats even higher using the second Keyblade of Final Form. I think DC was at 41 magic in Final, so should make very quick work of the station fight here. Opting to get into EXP boost range on the Dusks here. Oh, actually gonna take the time to kill everything here too.
Yeah, may as well. You should be able to get through most of these waves. He's already grabbed 2 levels just in that small little bit here. Yeah, stats are now quickly climbing, so.
Yeah, only unfortunate part is DC is gonna fall out of final form here during the mansion fight. And once again, DC not having that second magnet from OC means much lesser crowd control on his end. So the last portion of this fight might be a little bit sketchy without the final form, but I imagine he'll be fine regardless.
Oh, hey, Wisdom Form on level 34. We still don't have levels hinted, by the way, so
Yeah.
that's a funny little find. But that does give dstu a refill now, or a way to refill, at the very least. So that is definitely a plus.
Also, Mickey
Yeah,
not stealing any kills there as well. dstu got all the EXP boosted enemies there.
Yo, Raiden
Wait,
getting the
what?
Raiden just got the god tier skip.
He got the one frame. That is actually so much faster than even the other version because you get full Ragnarok damage. Wow, that's crazy.
That is insane. Like that's a huge skip there for Raiden. Like already, like having the new Twilight Thorn tech is already time saving itself. But if you have Twilight Thorn on the field, it saves so much more time because you can actually lock on and use Limit Form.
Yeah, not only that, Raiden also just saves time there over dstu just for having Limit Form, even if he didn't have the new tech for it. Like having that available means that Raiden had a faster fight, and then he got an even faster fight on top of it. So very, very cool for Raiden there.
Also, dstu back in STT now.
Yeah, going for that Beast Claw. He wants that Thresholder objective. Makes sense. Raiden going for that Hyenas 2 objective. Should make very quick work of this. Only at 35 magic, but once again, it's fine. Like, it's not like any of this content is hard.
Just that's plain rude here. OC has both the Bone Fists
and the membership card as well. Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. Given that your Hades objective now is very hard locked in OC. So dstu's not gonna have, and dstu's gonna have to go out of his way now for that Beast Claw, which is definitely why he's back here.
Yeah, I think the other thing is like that hint that Raiden just got. I think that hint solidifies what Raiden is doing. I think Raiden is gonna go TT3 after this, or World That Never Was. I think Raiden ends up skipping Data Xemnas, Data Zigbar, and Hades. And you're basically locked into that kind of mentality at this point with that hint, because that's a lot of content that you need to do to get access to, you know, any other objective.
I agree. Yeah, and like, sure, Data Axel can be a little bit intimidating if you slip up just in the slightest, but it is definitely.
It's one of the easier datas, in my opinion, with low tool. So it's like, if there was any data that I had to do, just like off rip with nothing, it would be Data Axel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only unfortunate part about it is the fact that Raiden does need to clear through all of Twilight Town to do that objective. But Raiden is set up for Hyenas 2 right now. He's going to it right before Solar Sailor, so that's 2 objectives right there, and then just needs to do TT and climb the World That Never Was up to Luxor, and then he's on his way to final fights. dstu is currently doing Windows, which will get him that objective. Then we'll most likely be going to Beast Castle, considering he got the Beast Claw in, I think it was the pop-up post struggles.
I believe so, yeah, because he didn't set foot in Sunset Terrace.
Okay. So yeah, probably dstu going through Windows and then going right to Beast Castle after this, and then most likely following suit and doing World That Never Was after that. I imagine Raiden will probably do Twilight Town before going World That Never Was, because doing TT will, you know, supplement levels and speed up the World That Never Was, because Raiden's strength is almost above the floor now, up to 29 strength, so just needs a tiny bit more, and fights like Zigbar and Roxas are going to be a lot faster.
Yep. Yeah, and especially having Limit Form and that Trinity, he can just blitz Luxor, Roxas, and did we ever we have Hori, did we ever find a Berserk?
I'm not sure. Oh, Raiden going into OC here. I'm a little bit surprised to see this.
Interesting. I'm wondering if he's hoping doing this is going to be a little faster than him going through the rest of TT.
Yeah. I assume that's probably the mentality. It is a risk. It is a risk. If this membership card is late and then also the battlefields is late, it's like kind of scary.
Yeah, we know that membership card is in first visit because of
Yeah.
the fact that the OC unlock is in second visit. So that is the plus side. It's just
you definitely
how far
want to
do we
see
gotta
it
go
earlier, because that way if you get up to like core and you don't have the battlefields, you can abandon this idea without needing to commit even more time. Unfortunately, if it ends up being all the way on Hydra, you kind of get into that sunk cost fallacy where you're like, but I already did Hydra, and then you're outside of core, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm doing core skip. Oh, it's not in core. I guess I'm doing demi. Like,
yeah, it's one of those like it's right there. It's just right around the corner. I know it's right there, and it's like, no, it's all the way at the end of the world.
All right, these two through betwixt and between here, or into betwixt and between, pardon me, and gonna probably just be utilizing oh, that's right, he doesn't have limit form. I was gonna say reflect and limit form, but probably just gonna have to rely on reflex here and hoping that Axel doesn't end up putting him in a bad situation. Out of MP here, a little bit scary,
especially not having a ground finisher of any kind makes this a little bit touchier.
Yeah, also not having limit form for that safety, like that really scary, in all honesty. Axel hitting away that assassin, still okay.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of XP here. At least now it's in the 34-45 for stats. Gonna probably get one. No, I think it's the last. Nobody.
Yeah, this is also a little bit scary for dstu now because no more ethers. Alright, should be fine. Okay.
Plenty
good.
Good.
Finishing plus.
Yeah, so we also get to finally see levels are in fact just full done. That wisdom form, and then there's more to SP outside of the nominate sketches. So. And then same with LED. There's still more there somewhere.
Yeah, dstu is also in his go mode, so we're just gonna be rushing objectives here.
Okay, membership card just right after Earns.
Alright, so Raiden's probably hoping that this battlefield ends up just being early in HB, hoping it's in corridors here. If it ends up being later than that, it starts to get really scary, because at that point you're really weighing your time. And if it's not in, say, like the early part of core, it's a really rough situation to be in.
I agree.
dstu making super quick work of hostile program there, using that final form glide to just blitz the health bar.
Yeah, because the biggest thing too would be if Raiden does decide to do core skip and then finds out that there's an unlock at the end.
I mean, it sucks, don't get me wrong, but that guarantees that your battlefields is there. You know what I mean? It's not in Crystal Fissure. It's not on 1K. You know it's there. So,
yeah, and you do have Magnera final form.
Well, Raiden doesn't have final form.
Oh, right. Oh, we got a ground finisher finally.
What Raiden does have is Pan. And I know that sounds like a joke, but the thing about Pan, if you're below the floor, every time that you hit an enemy, it drops an MP orb. So Magnet Pan gets you infinite magnets. So if you're in a bad spot, Core 2 with Pan is not terrible. Core 1 is a little bit gross, but yeah, picking up Guard Break and Finishing Leap in HB2 there, kind of nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, can never go wrong with Pan just because of the fact that when you're not annihilating everything, it's super nice to have him just continue to replenish your orbs.
Yeah.
And Raiden also picking up another accessory slot, another finishing plus.
Ooh, that was a little bit scary for dstu. I thought you reflected a little bit early on the big orb there, but...
So that's going to be extra nice for Raiden here, having the multiple finishing pluses for those magnets into a finishing leap of any variety.
Yeah.
also makes it super nice in tandem with Thunders as well.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, now we're just hoping for Raiden here to see that battlefield isn't too terribly deep here. Definitely going into the core now.
Meanwhile, dstu is on Solar Sailor, should be able to make pretty quick work of this, has great magic and Final Form as a fallback.
Alright, so far, first handful of core, nothing. And still nothing. Alright, so Goofy in the way here. Goofy.
dstu picking up that objective. Yeah, Goofy blocking the core skip ledge grab. Alright, dstu going for Thresholder now.
Alright, Raiden lining things up here. Plenty safe, making sure they get the transitions. Still nothing. Yeah, I bet dstu's not going to be particularly thrilled to see the Trinity limit here just before Thresholder.
Yeah, most likely not.
And still nothing.
Raiden is going to have to do the magic ledge grab here. Not exactly the most enjoyable way to do core skip, but...
Yeah, given what your situation is, doesn't have much of a choice here but to try and go for that.
Yeah, so what you need to do is you need to wedge yourself into this corner and then wait for Sora to be at the highest that he possibly can be in his like little bobbing animation that he gets while in that corner. It's really, really annoying. He needs to get a little bit more left once he's up there. There it is. No, really? Yeah, this is definitely unfortunate, but it is a hard angle to be at. Just barely short.
Yeah, and this is
no.
one of those...
I think he's out of ethers as well. He is.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
actually out of ethers. He has money, he just has to go buy them.
But thankfully has a tent. Has a couple tents there, so nice little alternative.
Okay, Raiden has a much better camera, so he can see when Sora's at the highest here.
And, man.
These two going in and getting the Trinity 1 cycle on Thresholder, meanwhile.
Yeah, it's like in Raiden's shoes here, you're trying to commit to this because you've already...
You don't really have a choice at this point. Like,
yeah.
You're here for the battlefields, you need to get these checks, you know?
Yeah. I think he's just saying, screw it, we're just going to go ahead and just go through with the fights.
Yeah, that might be what he's doing. He might be going and doing dancers first to get to at least see the two checks there. I'm not sure. These is also in World But Never Was, assuming going for that Zigbar and L0rdRaiden play here. Oh, setting up for double negative combo, actually. Did not realize that they had one on a Keyblade.
Alright, and then I don't know if that death was intentional for Raiden, but...
I believe it was. He was checking the two chests in Restoration Site.
Alright, so Raiden now back to SP here. I wonder for Raiden if going for that battlefield, you're kind of stuck in a hard spot right now. Probably going through Solar Sailor, maybe consider just doing the fights at that point after you get done with here, since you will be a little bit better statted.
Maybe, yeah, it's a hard call to make. I imagine that Raiden is pretty locked into this mentality after committing to HB2. Rather than going for Data Axle, it's just a matter of, do you go back and try to do course skip again, or do you just do the fights?
Mm-hmm. And nicely done here from dstu, picking up a Stitch, which would be definitely very useful.
Yep. dstu should have a pretty good time in World That Never Was here. Has good stats. Auto Master after Roxas. If Raiden goes and does that before going back for Core, does have potential to use Auto Master to do the wall climb instead.
Mm-hmm. And we got Blizzaga now as well for dstu, so even more firepower to the arsenal.
Yeah, that's gonna be really nice for that Data Axle objective. Gonna be doing a lot more damage with Blizzaga.
Yeah, dstu needs to partly hope that there's a magnet somewhere. Oh, well, I was gonna say hopefully here in World That Never Was, but that one page just killed off that hope. So,
I mean, even without Magnera, it's not gonna be too bad because he does have access to Final Form, right?
alright, Raiden following in. Gonna be able to kind of go through this normal just because of the fact that they've got that limit form at their disposal here. Oh. Second thoughts. Trying to get to the blue zone. There we go.
Double checking abilities. Okay. I imagine Raiden's doing the fight here with 37 magic and limit form rather than quick running it.
Mm-hmm.
Using the old magic loop. Pretty consistent strat here.
Oh.
Into
All
a DM, unfortunately, just past the health gate. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
these two entering Xigbar here at 1 HP, which is a little bit scary.
Yeah, forgot to fill their health up before they came into here, so it's all good. Didn't get sniped by Xigbar right away. Just waiting for that room transition to go to work with Final Form here.
Green getting some good damage out of Ragnarok here because his magic is his primary stat. Gonna dodge roll these lasers, guard, and get another Ragnarok. This should kill, I believe. Yep.
Almost was a 1 HP hero.
These two getting a lot of damage on Xigbar using this final form. Ooh,
yeah,
a little bit scary.
Final Glide here.
Yeah, Final Glide, very powerful if you're able to keep it up on Xigbar, and this should be a kill, because Xigbar should reload and Mega Duck Flare should grab him, yeah.
There
Well
we
done
go.
by these two.
Gonna have to hope the Luxor plays nice, because they don't have that limit form to kind of get a bit aggressive.
True.
Doesn't have our guard break either.
True, but does have Reflera, so cards should be dying in the single Reflect, so even if Xigbar doesn't play super nice, should be okay to just get through the fight relatively fast, all things considered.
Alright, Raiden's turn now for Xigbar. That will get them to their 10th objective. These two also will be at number 10, coming up after Luxord.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunate thing for Raiden here, strength literally just below the floor. So, gonna have a bit of a longer fight here. Gonna be relying on Duck Flare and probably Form Pops or refill MP. Gonna I assume he's going to be trying to aim for blue laser action loop. Most likely. This might overdamage. It did overdamage. Zigbar's already in DM phase, so he's not DM here.
Yeah.
This is
Not
scary
getting
now.
lucky.
Biggest thing about post DM Zigbar is it really lessens your opportunities to get punishes.
Yeah, because once he DMs, he basically becomes a fanatic, and then 9 times out of 10, once he goes back from the top of his little perch there, he'll go crazy with lasers, and then basically DM you again.
Got the upside down lock, but Donald was dead. Couldn't go into a duck flare for a punish.
Yeah. A bit of trouble here, because now it's just all on you with... might have a potion still from the looks of it. We're probably, after this over the top here, yep, back into another DM.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is eating up a lot of time in comparison to dstu015's Zigbar fight.
Yeah. Even without like a stat differential, just having final form to supplement your damage would be saving a lot of time.
Yeah, it really needs Donald to wake up. Yeah, like you mentioned, once you're in that DM portion, there's just no opportunity for punishing, because it's just all hell breaks loose. Oh my gosh!
He room transitioned though. Or DM'd, I'm not sure which. It's
it's
another DM.
Yeah, I was thinking, if it wasn't a DM, he went back up on his perch, but unfortunately, another DM.
Yeah, post DM, like your only real opportunity, other than luckily catching Zigbar right as he teleports, is getting upside down walk. Other than that, you just don't have an opportunity to do real damage.
Yeah.
dstu on the Scar here, so setting up for that Breadlands 2 objective, just has Scar and then needs to go fight Hyenas 2.
Another DM!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you have no choice but to commit to this, because you've already gone this far.
Yeah, basically, if you don't just take an intentional death on the first DM, you're committing to the longer fight. Like I said, Raiden's been a little bit unlucky. Zigbar has only given him one upside down walk in last phase here, and gets the combo shots. Like, because Raiden got hit by the first set of shots, the second set was guaranteed to hit him there. There was nothing that could really be done. That's really, really unfortunate. That's a big time loss on Raiden.
Alright, well, dstu on to Breadlands 2 to go after the Hyenas 2 objective, and then they're already set up for Data Axle.
Yeah.
I believe they just got to get back to the mansion at that point. Yeah, real unfortunate stuff here for Raiden. Yeah, I forget who we saw yesterday, but they had accidentally over damaged Zigbar and didn't get DM, and then didn't get the kill, and Zigbar still didn't DM. Like,
Zigbar did 2 actions without DMing. That's insane.
Yeah, it was insane.
Alright, so Raiden is set up almost perfectly for blue laser action loop here. Just needs to push Zigbar to his last phase during the blue laser, which should be done by hitting him with anything or reflecting the blue laser. That might actually be short on damage. I'm unsure. Alright, dstu on his way to his final objective, being Data Axle.
Right,
and Raiden is in action loop.
Okay, so that's how that works. I never quite understood the blue laser action loop portion, but that clears that up a lot better.
Oh, interesting. dstu checking OC1.
I can understand. Maybe see if you've got any last minute abilities. Potentially
I feel
here.
like if you were going to do this, you would have done it before you've done all of your other content, though.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised to see this, but either way.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's just dipping now. Probably just figured it was a very quick sequence to go check real quick before going in.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Especially not having any ground finishers, and also, once more was maybe hoping to find either of the two things. He could double neg
I guess that's fair.
here though.
That is true. That is an option on the table.
Because he's got combo pluses to supplement getting him into the wall to set up for the clearing of the floor.
Seems like he's just opting for the normal fight, though.
Understandable. Probably maybe not as comfortable trying to work with the negs there and just only having one actual combo.
Yeah. Go back into the menu. Oh,
here's the thing for Raiden though. Raiden's gotta figure out what he's gonna do here.
I think he's going right back to HB after this. Like I said, I think he's committed to that line of thought. Maybe not though. Maybe he does just go for TT3 into Data Axle. I'm unsure.
Either way, we are definitely in for an interesting finish while we get set to see dstu tackle Data Axle.
Oh, no way! That is insane. Just the reflect barely doesn't go off in time for the card minigame. Right at the end of the fight.
Oh, and dstu getting clipped immediately. Was probably expecting Data Axle to do the burn attack going behind him. Data Axle is a little tricky sometimes just because you're almost always anticipating him doing the burn attack going behind, and then he's just like quick attack.
Oh, using a Blizzard finisher there. Unfortunately, not having Axel comboed, so Axel was able to land and punish these two there.
This is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, basically, if dstu gets him into the RC loop, which he just needs to get him into the wall once, he can keep that up for the whole fight, even without magic. Ooh, again.
Oh.
It's able to get the reflect out, though.
Oh, and then Axel...
Reflect didn't stagger there. Yeah, reflect was a little bit... I don't know if it's early or late. I assume it's late if he gets... Yeah, it has to be late if he gets the action out, so... Slightly late on that reflect, allowing Axel to get the finisher out there.
I think is debating whether he wants to go for double neg.
I think he's just weighing his options for exactly how to do the fight. Raiden also getting DM skip there on L0rdRaiden. And now Raiden has a decision to make between TT3 and going back for that Battlefields and continuing OC. And again, the other thing to note, we don't know where the Battlefields is in Hollow Bastion. It could be in Crystal Fissure. It could be on 1K. It could be on Proof of Peace check.
And he's going back in, yeah. Like he said, he's already committed to this, going after the membership card back in OC. You may as well just commit to the bit here entirely.
dstu is in the RC loop now as well.
Oh, okay. The bat thankfully didn't fully clip Raiden there, so didn't get staggered.
He has Automaster as well, so should be able to use Automaster to climb the wall here. I could be wrong. Yeah.
Going he does
to the menu, equipping Automaster. Oh. Okay. Oh no, dstu taking a death from Axel there. Unfortunate. I think he got tagged by the firewall.
All right, Raiden getting up there, and there we go. All right, so now
DC not getting the stagger again on Axel there. That is the hardest, one of the hardest parts of this fight, is recognizing whether or not your reflect was properly timed to make Axel stagger or not.
all right, just a handful more checks here in core.
Oh, man.
Oh, well, there's once more.
Axel being a little bit unkind to dstu does give him a normal hit. dstu should be able to get him in the wall here.
Yep, there we go. And
Only
still nothing, so we got 2
left.
checks.
Oh, man.
And it's not here.
Core. Oh, man. So it's Demi or later.
Man. And it's like your magic stats also still... Because what's the magic number with Magnera for 1k again?
I think it's like 45 or something like that for non-double. I think it's 38 if you're doing double Magnera. And if you have limit form, you can keep up double Magnera the entire time, so...
Alright. Raiden going back in now, so... Yeah, he's just... Again, you've already gone this far on it. You're pretty much sink or swim with this maneuver. So now it's just a matter of how far do we got to go for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the other part that we have to consider, he then still has to go clear out the rest of OC.
Yeah.
And get into OC2.
Not only get into OC2, but full clear OC2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dstu approaching the last portion of this Axel fight here. Keeping the RC loop going strong.
Nope.
Utilizing those blizzards for chunky damage at the start of the combo. Is out of MP, but does have
here,
elixirs.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I'm dstu here, I would toss a safety elixir. But getting the job done here, hopefully.
Oh no!
Oh,
the blizzard finisher too slow and takes a death.
No.
Oh no.
Oh. I think would have been okay if he just, instead of going for the blizzard, just went for the Trinity, just keep Axel staggered.
He could have done Trinity or even a normal combo finisher. The blizzard finisher is just a little bit too slow.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah,
we're currently buffering on Raiden's side here, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, and dstu taking another death on Axel, not getting the stagger again. Very unfortunate.
So we're going to have dstu full screen here while we await to get Raiden's speed back up.
Oh, again, not getting the stat. Actually getting hit by the lingering hitbox on the flame attack from Axel. Slightly early on the reflect that time, causing that.
Okay.
dstu back in to Data Axel here.
Get these two pulled up, and we'll do it that way. We'll wait changes. dstu unfortunately getting clipped. Axel coming out sideways on the wall, and currently Raiden is going through FF, so the OC unlock was not there, and we are back.
Getting almost through Final Fantasy fights here, just on the last platform. dstu once again not getting a stagger. It's so unfortunate.
And the longer this goes on for dstu, this is allowing Raiden to slowly creep back in.
One thing to consider, though, is the loadless time
Oh.
difference. dstu does have about 2 minutes of flat loadless time over Raiden right now. And it's deeper still!
Oh my gosh!
Oh, man.
So now, we're looking at 1K and beyond.
Yeah, 1K, Gold Wing, or Proof of Peace check. Those are the only remaining locations available for this Battlefields of War.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely insane.
Okay, dstu does have the RC loop set back up here.
And I can only imagine, especially for dstu, the nerves are definitely probably there, especially being so close to being out of there. But making nice work here. Raiden's more than 3/4 done here. Also making very nice work of the double magnet.
No!
He doesn't have once more on.
855.
Oh. Yep, and he's going, yeah, making sure that that's on. Alright, Raiden back into 1K.
dstu is now in DM range for Axel. He has been for a few combos, actually, but if dstu ends up having Axel retaliate while grounded rather than close to the wall or airborne, he will go into a DM most likely, so...
Yeah, we're just kind of holding our breath here as dstu is... Uh-oh, quick retaliation. Fine. Alright, so we should be hopefully good this time. It's gonna make sure to get the item toss, and is through. Alright, dstu now on to final fights. Raiden is really hoping that this OC unlock is here, but still has a long ways to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of content left to do on Raiden's side. dstu also not going to need to spend any time grabbing bulky vendors here. We'll just be able to go all the way through.
Yep. Yeah, plenty of stats, plenty of items. So
yeah,
it's just full sending it. Does have the Magnera now as well, so at least engine core and like going into the engine core is going to be a little bit nicer. And they've got that final form to add on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Raiden almost done with 1K. And alright, pop-ups. Oh my gosh! Alright, Gullwing.
No shot.
My gosh.
No shot.
And that's just all that much more time now to have to travel all the way down there and then trek back to the save point in Crystal Fissure. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a super rough pull.
But again, you know, you committed to it, and unfortunately, the TT play definitely was way better in the end. Unfortunately, just with how deep you had to go for this. But
yeah,
I mean, you stick with your gut of what you feel is best, and unfortunately, it's just not gonna pan out.
all the way on mushrooms. dstu are going to be utilizing some final form here to get through engine core pretty quickly. Not going to have final for AX1 as a result, but we'll get all the way to the assassin phase of engine core here.
Yep. And that's perfectly fine, because we got good old Duck Flare to help us. Oh, Mike can actually get back to final form. Good stuff there to get back into final form.
Didn't stagger the assassin with that final fire, unfortunately.
On to AX1 though now. And just making quick work.
And this final form, those stats plus final form just absolutely melting that health bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should have fairly enjoyable time here. Like, obviously for him, if he's got race time pulled up, he sees the race is still going, so not necessarily as enjoyable for going through with seeing it's still active if that's the case, but yeah, gonna make very quick work of phase 2 here. And already back out. We're going for the quick building here.
My building might be a little bit low. It might end up tagging. Nope, not quite. Okay. Ooh, unfortunate. Just walked a little bit too close to AXC there. Ooh, out of MP now. I'm gonna have to throw an elixir before finishing the fight. Alright, on to final Zemnas.
Yep. We got Reflare to work with, plenty of stats and items. We're gonna be chunking this health bar here on the dance.
Yeah, provided no misreflects, should be right into laser phase here for these two. Unless he, opts to intentionally not push the health that far. Also getting in the extra air hits for the slightly higher damage, just for the sake of it. Just, into laser phase. So, handful of reflects here. dstu doesn't have once more, so if a reflect ends up missing and he gets comboed, that would have been death. Riku throwing the cure potion or whatever it's called to keep his health high, though. Ooh, barely missing. Gonna have to go through the last attack here of laser phase, unfortunately.
That's alright. Sure
locked onto the correct one.
Okay.
Went in late. Still gets him. This should still be a kill. He might go out of bounds, though. Never mind,
probably pop another elixir just in case.
And that's
alright.
GG's
to dstu. He's been on a very impressive run so far in the winner's bracket.
Absolutely.
But don't fret, that's not it for L0rdRaiden just yet. He does drop down into the losers bracket and will be facing off against Sun Zero. So whenever they get that set up, we'll anticipate that. But now we just await for winner semis to be set up. We still have Dragon Blast and Ragnoth yourself to be facing off, and Walpy and Kallet squaring off to determine our winner semis. It's going to be a very fun show. I believe we have another matchup later today.
I think there are 2 more today, but I could be wrong.
Okay, we just got info. Walpy versus Kallet at 7 p.m. I believe that's Eastern. And then Dark versus Ninten at 9. So definitely don't want to miss those matchups, as they are going to be very exciting to see. But I believe that's going to pretty much wrap it up for us here. And a pleasure being able to do comms with you, good sir.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch y'all later.